Hello everyone, welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode we are looking at how to pass the crazy legs. If you don't know what crazy legs is, it's when you pass somebody's guard here and you can see they get their legs in these crazy positions and they always seem to be able to re-guard. And they have very difficult guards to pass, but even when you do pass their guard, they're able to get their legs in these crazy positions. As you can see here, I'm doing a heavy smash pass and my partner here, he has those crazy legs. And look how he could flop those legs right behind his head and he doesn't even feel any of the pressure I'm putting on him. And here's me passing the guard in a traditional way and he's always able to bring those crazy legs back in. He has so much dexterity. Here it is again, chest to chest passing, and then that dexterity is always able to come back in and help bring those legs back around and push you back inside guard. Okay, so it could be very frustrating if you're using always traditional passes. Here's me also using the traditional mount, and look at that crazy leg. Look how he's able to contort his leg in this crazy fashion here and just use the jailbreak or a butterfly hook to pry me off and just get out of mount. So I no longer, when I'm wrestling a guy with crazy legs and I notice right away that he has crazy legs, I don't no longer go chest to chest when I go side control. I no longer mount in a traditional way. I'm going to show you guys what I do here in this next clip. You're going to see me pass the guard the way I do now when I know the guy has crazy legs. And I'm also going to show you guys how to drill this in this video as well. Okay, so watch here. I'm going to use the X pass. As I X pass, I'm going to drop and lock underneath his hip bone. I no longer go chest to chest. I know the guy has crazy legs. I know that if I do go chest to chest, it's going to be a nightmare for me. So I'm just going to lock up his thighs with my arms here. And then I'm going to hand it off to my legs. And once I hand it off to my legs, I'm going to stay in a low mount until I can get to S mount. Okay, if I go in a traditional mount, he's just going to bring those crazy legs back in. So here's me in S mount here. And notice I'm in S mount. And as soon as I go to traditional mount, watch, I'm going to go to traditional mount just for a second. Watch what happens. I'm going to traditional mount. Look at those crazy legs. Look at his leg. Look at what crazy position he can bring his legs in. Okay, this is why we call it crazy legs. He's putting his jailbreak in there. He's putting his butterfly hook. He's got that Eddie Bravo type flexibility. He's got that BJ Penn type dexterity. And look, I'm going to have to switch off right away into S mount to avoid all that. See, right when you switch to S mount, they no longer can do those kind of things. And from here, I can go to the back or I can attack the armbar. Right now, I'm attacking the armbar, but taking the back is also super strong. Okay, so for the first initial drill, what we want to do is we want you guys to X pass. Okay, so we want to start our initial pass here. It's the X pass. I'm a big believer in X pass, so I want you guys to drill this exactly like the way I'm doing it. One hand on the knee, one hand on the shoulder. There are many variations. I want you guys to be able to do on both sides and all variations. I will show you different variations in the future. Okay, so for now, we're just learning the typical basic X pass. Watch here. I'm X passing one way and then I'm going to switch it to the other. This is super important. Okay, now why do we call it the X pass? Because when you do the X pass, if you draw a line across your arms, see, I'm drawing a line across my arms. It makes an X. Okay, so that's why they call it the X pass. Now, when you do the X pass, you got to hold on as long as you can till your arms cross completely, just like I did in the video. And what are we taught to do once we pass the guard? We're taught to go chest to chest. In my opinion, this is a mistake. If you're wrestling a guy with crazy legs, watch what he's going to do. I don't have crazy legs. Okay, this is my best impression. But they're going to wrap their legs around and hook your head, hook your arm, hook your thigh, hook your hip bone, and just draw you back into their guard. Okay, so we want to avoid crazy legs altogether. How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to go into the X pass. Watch here. Here's me putting my hand on the knee, hand on the hip. I'm going to pivot my partner on his hip bone. I'm going to turn him. And now watch here. Instead of going chest to chest, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop my shoulder into the hip bone, just like I would do if I was doing a double leg. I'm going to lock up his thighs with my arms, and then I'm going to hand his legs over to my legs, and I'm going to mount him really low above his thigh and not his hip bone. Okay, traditionally, you're taught to mount on top of the hip bone. We're not going to do that when the guy has crazy legs. What we want to do, guys, is we want to mount those thighs, lock up his thighs. Therefore, that way he can't do any jailbreaking. He can't do any crazy butterfly hook and pry you off. Okay, he's going to be locked up. He's going to be wrapped up, and his crazy legs won't be able to come into effect. Okay, so let's see how we're drilling this here. We're going for our X passes. We did this drill this day. It worked out really well. Everybody's been passing the crazy legs really well in the gym. So we're doing the X pass. We're dropping our our shoulder right into the hip. Notice I never rested my hip bone on the ground. I don't want to put my hips on the ground. As soon as you put your hips on the ground, your partner is going to be able to shrimp away. Notice I'm on my toes. Okay, I'm always on my toes. All my weight is crashing down into his hips. And now once I mount his legs, I'm going to sprawl. Notice my hip bone sprawled, and that puts a nice tight pressure on his legs. Okay, all the flexibility in the world is not going to help him now. If he tries to shrimp, I'm just going to take his back. And if he doesn't shrimp, I'm going to climb to S mount and start wrapping him up in an arm bar or maybe a back attack. Okay, so I'm faking one way, faking the other. one hand on the shoulder, one hand on the knee, pivot your opponent, drop right into a double leg. Notice my hips are not on the ground. I'm on my toes. I'm going to hand his legs off to my legs, wrap him up. Okay, now when you wrap up his legs, you can go sole to sole like I just did right there. You can cross your ankles, or you can put a triangle on. It's all up to you. Okay, do how you're comfortable. I use all variations. So here comes the X pass. As I go into X pass, watch this, guys. Real slow motion here. I'm going to drop right into his hip bone with my shoulder. Yeah, I'm going to crash my shoulder right into the hip bone, and look how the area of his legs I want to control is right here. I don't want to go and lock up his torso. I don't want to sit on his hips. This is the position I want, okay? I want to lock up those thighs. I want to kill those crazy legs. Once I lock him up, I'm going to creep up over his thighs. And from there, I can go into a mount, S mount, or attack the back, okay? If he tries to shrimp away, I'll attack the back. And here's another little angle. Fake one way, fake the other. X pass, drop, lock up those legs, mount them. Don't rest your weight on the ground. Keep your toes on the ground and rest your weight on his hip bone. All right, guys. Here's me doing it again in the live variation here. Here's me going to X pass. Notice when I did the X pass, I did a different variation. I dropped my elbow in his hip bone. Instead of putting my hand on the shoulder here, I dropped my elbow in his hip bone. I also like this variation. I would experiment with it if I was you guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful pass. Watch here. I'm going to drop into the hip bone here and lock up his legs. I'm not going to go torso to torso. If I do go torso to torso, I guarantee you this guy will get out. Those crazy legs are going to come fishing around and hook me and push me off. You saw GSP pass BJ Penn's guard several times. Every time he passed his guard, what happened? He put the jailbreak in. He put those crazy legs in, and he was able to push George off his guard. Okay, so when you get a guy like this, get into S mount or grab that hip bone when you pass the guard. Do not go chest to chest. Now here's me in S mount. I'm going to go to traditional mount for just a second here. I'm making an adjustment, and look at that crazy leg just comes creeping in. I felt it right away. I switched back to S mount. Do not allow him to put those crazy legs back in. You want to go from passing the guard to double leg, okay, grabbing those hips, shoulder and the hip bone, and wrapping up those legs like I showed in the drill. Don't go chest to chest, and don't go to full mount. Go to S mount instead. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of another video. Thank you for always liking and sharing, and I will see you all in the next episode.